piece of cake. You have to bite or swallow the bitter pill. What? What do you think about all that? Well, a lot more going to be coming your way from there. Is this Starr Radio UK? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right, then. Now, moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Well, interestingly, we thought that it's only Africans who are hungry and therefore decide to plot coup d'etats. But apparently, there were some people who were plotting to overthrow the government in Germany. Whoops. Well, 25 people have been accused of plotting a coup d'etat. A far-right group is suspected of planning to storm parliament and install an aristocrat as leader. Well,
Tony.
Well, is it a Trump example or template that they are using? Storm the Congress and everybody think that storming there, that would do it. Well, those are some stories making around. In Georgia, in the USA, Georgia, win hands Democrats outright Senate control. Raphael Warnock fights off Republican challenger Herschel Walker to hold his Georgia Senate seat. Well, kudos to them. Well, those are some of the stories making the rounds. One hour before we take a break. Now, people had to hit main rooms as cold snap hits. Now they are telling us, now you have to hit one room. So I think you have to take one of the heaters, then you hit it, and then you all sit there and hold your hands. So the front room, then you all sit there, not to be hitting the whole house, because that is quite expensive, isn't it? Well. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, this is a strong one. Council wrongly took 40 million from social housing fund. 40 million pounds. Which council is that? But I could see their building, and I know them. Croydon Council took funds which were allocated for social housing to put to general use. It has emerged. Our heads going to roll once again. This is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. We will be bringing you more on that front and a lot more. Former President Goodluck Jonathan yesterday said the fear of the unknown in the welfare of public officer or office holders after retirement was fueling corruption in the civil service. Of course, what do you expect them to do?
Corruption
when you know that by the time they are going on retirement, they might even have to be queuing for whatever little money that will be given to them. What do you think? I got this music from Pastor Theodore Abuja and featuring Nog, and he says, I will dwell. You have no place to be, you have to dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. All right, enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
As we're getting ready to join Starr Radio for the morning show. We're set on all the platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and everybody is ready to roll as I'll be joining Mr. Archie. That is discussing Lori in terms of nothing more than the fact that Nigeria, it's not a country. Nigeria is a country. It's not a country, okay? If you flag me, see, I will flag me. Left hand side, I will flag you, Rama Woni Legbe. Nigeria can she low as often pay low in Nigeria for where Nigeria is not a country. The routine on saffron in Nigeria, it's not a country at all. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. Ó dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ break, ó gbọ́dọ̀ lulẹ̀. Tó bá lulẹ̀ nìkan la máa lálàáfíà. Tí Nàìjíríà bá lulẹ̀ lè lálàáfíà láyé. Mo A very good morning. Aki ọmọdé, aki àgbàlagbà. Nàìjíríà ó ti lulẹ̀. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó lulẹ̀. Ẹ bá ìbàjẹ́ káwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà bá sọ pé we want to save Nigeria. They want to save Nigeria for the criminal politician. Politician tó ti ta ọjọ́ ọ̀la wọn. Imagine a lot of people are still trying to save Nigeria. For the same people that have sold their life, you know, but they are being deceived that they will fix Nigeria. We will make Nigeria a great country. Nigeria will be greater than even Britain. Imagine somebody telling you that nonsense. Imagine somebody telling you that nonsense that will fix Nigeria. How are they going to fix Nigeria? Báwo ló fi fix Nigeria? Àní Nigeria ti lulẹ̀. Nigeria ó ti ṣe kíni, ó ti lulẹ̀. Let's allow Nigeria to dissolve. Have a smaller country where we can manage ourselves. Norway, gbogbo population Norway, the whole population of Norway is less than 5 million. Passport in Norway, and tó bá ní passport in Norway láàárọ̀ is about almost number 6 in the world. So you are likely to live a better life. Mo kí ìyàwó Kíkẹ́, mo kí gbogbo ẹni tí darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. You know, if you save Nigeria, you want to save a country that doesn't care. 90% of Nigerians will enjoy affordable internet. Hey, congratulations. Hey, congratulations, 90%. We worried, headline, we worried 100 million Nigerians living below poverty line. China, no, we are worried. We have lifted more than 700 million people out of poverty in China. And in Nigeria, there are 200 million with 100 million people living in poverty. Can you imagine? A sorry word line here. A word line in Lori Gazette. And in Nigeria, ìlú is not worth dying for. If you die for Nigeria, you die for nothing. Imagine. Gazette mo fẹ́ lọ mú jáde kò ń ṣe lé ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo headline ti tààrọ̀ yìí. Àwọn ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ wo headline yìí ẹ wo headline tí mo fẹ́ mú jáde mo ń dúró de ARCHIE kó padà ní àsórí ìjókòó rẹ̀. 100 million, we are worried. China now are worried. Imagine China is worried that there's 100 million Nigerians in abject poverty. Ah, my shit. An idiot. Okay, ARCHIE Tipada. Let me call him. And people will tell you, let's fix Nigeria. Go and fix your father's house. Mad people all over the place.
It's now 4 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is the Wednesday edition of the morning show. And as you know, because we're going to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time, so we have to be cracking on like no man's business. So don't you worry, I'll bring you some lovely tunes during the course of the program if I have the time. Of course, we've got lots of news I'm going to be bringing your way, but however, it is my singular honor to introduce the one and only White Lion. And let me say, massive good morning to you, Yummy.
Well, it is a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. It is a Wednesday edition, like you say, and we just have to crack on as no man business. But it is also the Wednesday where we take you through the 2.5 hours when it comes to Niger Voices. So as much as if we don't take care of all the news headline, be rest assured that at 1800 hours later on tonight, we will be discussing a lot of issues as the self-determination, the election, the kidnapping, the Chatham House, where we've now been able to acquire more information on the interview granted by Tinubu to BBC, and likewise so many other issues. All that will be contained at 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. local time in London, That will be 7 p.m. for those of you in Nigeria. So don't be running away. Make sure that stay with us for the next few hours when we will take you through the Prime Minister question time. But for now, it is all about the news headline coming out of Nigeria on your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I'm sure you'll be wondering the background. I'll be talking about that in just about a few minutes.
Yes, that is a lovely background, full of information, and I know listeners will be eager to know exactly what is going on there. But when it comes to Nigeria, of course, we always have something that is going on there. Hope you are doing very well, sir.
Well, I'm doing very well. The weather continued to be very cold. I've been out this morning as a school run continue until the holiday, which is the Christmas time. I don't know what you have for plan, but already the list is already piling up. But I'm not sure whether we'll be able to, be able to get all those lists that the children are already giving out.
I think we have to kidnap Santa.
I was actually looking at a Santa in Nigeria, see if we can get that video where he was actually riding on a goat and like a seat, and the Santa with a small belly there. But it is what it is. Christmas time, for those that celebrate it, is where people also spend money. But again, we are preparing for that as well here in the UK.
Well, listeners, that is what we do here. We hope that you are doing very well. Prince Abimbola, Osode, good morning. It's a good morning, Archie and White Lion. Well done for the good job. Niger is a charade and it's high time for a breakup. Well, what do you think? We want to know what your comments are wherever you might be. Anthony Energy, thumbs up to you too, and good morning. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Now let's go to your background. What is that? No cause for alarm over security threats. Liar Mohammed. He said it. Yes.
If you remember, when the American was actually advising, their staff and family members that are working in Abuja to evacuate as quickly as possible. Lai Mohammed came out and said in October 25th, no cause for alarm over security threat. But it seems there's already cause for alarm because as of today, yesterday, one killed, other missing as gunmen attack Abuja community. So what they've done is they've actually merged the two headlines together, which is what is giving us our background this morning. Terrorists have killed one person and have, as usual, adopted others in Abuja. One Adenike, a serving youth corps member, and 7 others were on Tuesday, yesterday, kidnapped at the Arab Road Extension 2, Kubwa district of the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. According to information, one resident was killed by the terrorists during this operation. According to the source, the terrorists who invaded some buildings along the Arab Road started shooting periodically and adopted Mrs. Adenike, the only daughter of her parent, and any resident they could lay their hands on. This is happening, right in Abuja, and you start to wonder the kind of insecurity that we have. And that was part of the question that was thrown to Bola Tinubu, the presidential aspirant for the APC, in the interview that I watched, which was granted by the BBC World Africa. It was asked that, your government that you supported brought in President Muhammadu Buhari. They said a lot of insecurity in the country. What are you going to do? What his response was that when Buhari came in, he's going to do something different. What he's going to do different is, he said the Western world have refused to sell leather weapons to Buhari's government. And I was able to look back to that, and you could tell that the reason for that is there has been a lot of breaking by the terrorists into the military barracks, and likewise the military itself has been infiltrated by the terrorists as well. So it seems that Americans and some other Western world are refusing to sell weapons. He has actually said he will employ more Nigerians into the military. You're going to employ Nigerians into the military, and yet you don't have the capacity, just as the government. The interviewer did say that Buhari said the same thing, that when he gets to power, it will change the dimension of the insecurity. But as you can see from this headline, it seems that, according to the source explained, apart from the youth copper, they are also looking for 7 other residents. Nobody can sleep anymore. Hear this, it was like a war zone the way they were shooting. Luckily, 2 of those kidnapped have escaped. This is how we knew that 7 persons have been taken away. It is now right in Abuja, and just in October, the Information Minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, was telling us there's no cause for alarm.
Well, I see it all the time. It looks like they live in a different world. So when we talk about they think that, oh, you know what, it's not the same thing that these people are experiencing. But when it gets closer to them, and that is why I tell the people who go on to abduct people, I say, go and abduct them. Do those harm to them for them to know that reality. And that they have the big monies. You can get it from them. All right? Now, see the pictures behind you, people who have been abducted. Now, you did talk about a former accountant general of a state who has been abducted. Can you just throw more light on that?
Well, there's a lot of adoption going on, and sometimes it could just be political adoption, or it could just be the same, criminality that is going on in Nigeria. We'll come back to this story that is behind me, but let's go back again to, you're quite right. The accountant general, a former accountant general in Rivers State, again kidnapped, just as the news has been coming out of the state this morning. Sorry, Cross River State, not River State. Cross River State, according to the news that we have, Rosie Bassi, a former Cross River State accountant general, was yesterday kidnapped by yet to be identified persons on Uru to Inyanga stretch of Akwa Ibom, Ikon Calabar Highway, gradually becoming notorious for recent kidnappings for ransom. We do know that there's just other Nigerians that are now using this as a lucrative business. As long as you can kidnap somebody, you can get a bit of money from them, and then you can kidnap another person until probably that you got, picked up by the security agency. The concern has been, again, going back to whether the 1999 Constitution, the military decree, that have actually overruled state from having their own state police. This could have at least curbed, the insecurity that we are facing in the country. When Tinubu was asked, in that interview that I've been able to watch, like I said, he was asked a lot of questions on what he's going to do. He talked about that, this election is going to be will be free and fair. He also said we have ever going to see. He talked about the security, the economy recovery. He's going to employ more Nigerians, and also he will get inflation down. He couldn't talk about the subsidy. He was not too sure about the subsidy, but from what I've listened to, it is just the same rhetoric that Tinubu was unable. First of all, how are things going with you with the campaign? Things are going well, and I'm going to the script. I am very, very confident, and that this election will be free and fair. This is Tinubu, as he was talking. I am the front runner, according to him, and that is why I am getting many arrows. He believes that he's getting many arrows, but what he's not talking about is the arrows of what is government that is supported in 2015 coming into 2019. Up to 8 years now, more Nigerians are living into a lot of problems. And when he was asked his priority, he talked about economic recovery to accelerate the development. He talked about to get Nigerians employed and get the inflation down as quickly as possible. He was also talking about the monetary policy and likewise the subsidy. Subsidy needs to be decided upon and then removed. He was not too sure whether it could be. Security is a big problem for many Nigerians. I remember in this same room in 2015, I asked President Muhammadu Buhari when he was campaigning about the issue, and he said, well, we know what we are going to do. We know the problem still persists, but we are going to do specifically. It is actually reduced, according to him. Whether that is reduced or not, 17 local government, according to him, is no longer in the hands of the terrorists, but also
17 local governments. Hello?
So, and as you can tell, today in Abuja, there are still terrorist activities going on. Star Radio UK, because of the time, I'm going to come back again to you in the studio, and we can continue to review some of the other headlines.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios, and Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. But if you want in detail updates or discussions on issues that is going on in Nigeria. Make sure that this evening exactly at 18 hours GMT, if you are in Nigeria, it will be GMT +1. Join Mr. OLAYOMI on a 2.5 hours program where everything Nigeria will be discussed. All right then. So you make a picture behind you. What is it about?
It seems that, whether it's poverty, whether it's somebody that is now taking advantage of the poverty level in Nigeria. The picture you're looking at are two teenagers that have actually sold their organs. Police in Lagos State have now commenced investigation into illegal sale of human organs by two teenagers. Police in Lagos State have commenced into how two teenagers residing at Iyanoipaja, which is one of the biggest local government when you link it to Alimosho area, sold their organs to a medical doctor in Abeokuta, southwest of Nigeria in Ogun State, for 200,000 naira without the consent of their parent. The teenagers allegedly connived with an adult member of the church and went into a medical doctor at Redwood Specialist Hospital, Abeokuta, where their organs were sold for 100,000 naira each. The bubble reportedly burst in September last couple of months this year when one of them started vomiting and she was taken to the hospital by her father, who thought it was a normal typhoid or malaria, and the doctor requested for medical tests, which later revealed that her anus and her private part were damaged. It was gathered that the sick girl, who became unconscious after the health condition, was blown open, regained conscious, and disclosed to her father that a female member of his church trafficked them to Ogun State, where their organs were sold to a medical doctor. The teenagers further alleged that the trafficker connived them to carry out the illegal act because the one whose father is a bishop is not paying them enough money, and she will take them to where they'll be handsomely paid 100,000. They also allege that the traffickers want them not to tell their father or their parent. If they do, she will kill them. This is what is going on in Nigeria today. We know that it is not the first time that organs have been sold, but for this to continue in September this year, how many other innocent Nigerians have gone through under the knife, have died in that process, or probably, if they have not been able to be taken to a proper hospital and they died, they'll probably say it's the next door neighbor that killed them.
It is serious. It is very, very serious. Because I'm looking at it. Which organs did they sell? Which organ? I mean, somebody will say, when it comes to kidney, everybody has got two kidneys, and then people can sell one of their kidneys or their lungs. So what organs did they didn't give any details about that? Well,
according to investigation revealed that the teenagers were taken to another hospital in Surulere, Lagos, where they were referred to more medical laboratory tests. And the laboratory test, I'm just trying to get that up. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. They were taken to another hospital in Surulere in Lagos State, where they referred to a medical laboratory test and scan, which revealed that their liver, uterus, urine bladder, kidney gland, gallbladder were damaged as a result of the procedure. When contacted, the bishop father of the teenagers told the paper that when his daughter were taken to the hospital, the test was conducted, and the younger ones told him that they knew that their sister was sick, as he frequently went to toilet with medical equipment coming out dripping blood. So it seems that whatever happened during this procedure has now damaged more to the body system of these innocent children that again is now being investigated by the police. And again, when you convert £1, which is about almost 900, this morning in terms of the, what we call the exchange rate. So what we are looking at is, if I go into, let's take about, I'm probably taking £300 this morning, and that will probably give us, well, we're looking at about £250 for what they've actually received.
What? 250
pounds.
250 pounds
each, yeah. So £500 for the boat.
Wow. Well, China is concerned that Nigerians, many are living below the poverty line. continue to grapple with grinding penury. Now, virtually saying that the government is saying they've lifted 700 million people out of poverty. Well, no, that's what the Chinese are saying. But they are saying that the Nigerians are grabbing majority of them, and that is what is going to cause a kid, a teenager, to say being so desperate that they're going to take what 250 pounds for an organ to be taken by a quack doctor that has impacted their lives negatively. Yomi.
China seems to be worried that 100 million Nigerians live below poverty line, and China is saying that they've been able to lift more than 700 million people out of poverty in China. And in Nigeria, we are only just 200 million, with half of that living below poverty line. According to China, that is concerned, and this is what came out from the China ambassador to Nigeria. We have lifted more than 700 people out of poverty in China, and in Nigeria, you are just 200 million, with 100 million living below poverty line, says Xiong Jingdong, the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria. This is my great concern and effort that make me try to do things for Nigeria. And the most important thing now is agriculture. Just as we saw Norway, giving 6.5 million to the northern part of Nigeria to about 100,000 vulnerable farmers, even though Norway today is less than 5 million, with a GDP worth about 450,000 billion US dollars, and also compared to Nigeria, where it should have been one of the greatest countries. I look back to what Norway actually produced, and one of their most important products is gas and oil. And all this started almost the same time when we got our own independence in 1960. They probably have gone far now when it comes to using that natural resources to elevate the lives of the citizens of Norwegians, and likewise now supporting Nigeria. The Chinese ambassador noted that China accomplished the first step of its century goal last year, eradicating extreme poverty, building a moderately prosperous society. The diplomat said this on Tuesday when he delivered a China Aid Nigeria Agriculture Demonstration Center project worth just 2.8 billion to the federal government to contribute to the Nigerian agricultural sector.
This is serious. This is serious. But I don't know what, we'll have Lai Mohammed come to sit down and say that everything is all right. We are doing our best. You can't critique. Because the other time, was it Monday, he had come out to come and criticize the PDP leader, saying that, well, he is accusing the Buhari government of not being mad for the people and that they are a failure and stuff like that. Right? Saying that they are done marvelously. They developed Nigeria, but China, so they're saying that we have about 100 million, that's about half of the population of Nigeria, who are seriously poverty driven. What do you think about all that? Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. So live in Koiki and North London studios. I'm Archie, and like I said, this afternoon or this evening, exactly at 18 hours, there'll be a further and a detailed discussion of all the stories that we are looking at. But let's come to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed fresh cash withdrawal limits on individuals and organizations, which will become effective on January 9, 2023. Is it that Nigeria is broke?
When I saw this yesterday, straight away, it went back to, is it that the new currency, which is just behind me, that was given out to the federal government and will be available for Nigerians, is it not enough? But we do know that the Central Bank of Nigeria now has imposed fresh cash withdrawal limit. So even if I have ₦500,000 naira in my account, and I needed to withdraw 300,000 out of it in a week, I will not be able to do so. And this is going to be taking effect from 9th of January 2023. You will only be able to withdraw 500,000 if you're an organization. According to a memo that was issued by the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, yesterday, Tuesday, the 6th of December, individuals will only be allowed to withdraw 100,000 naira per week from over-the-counter or point-of-sale machines or the automated teller machines. While the organization can access about $500,000 per week, the memo that was signed by the CBN Director of Banking Supervision, Haruna Mustafa, directed banks to load only 200 and the lower denominations into their ATM. This means Nigeria will only be able to withdraw 20,000 naira per day from the ATM when the directive comes into effective. The question you have asked is whether Nigeria is broke. Nigeria is completely not just broke. The country itself is broken into multiple problems. Economy problem is one of them. Insecurity is one of them as well. Genocide that is taking place both in the southeast part of Nigeria and the southwest is one problem as well. And likewise, the inflation that have become a big, massive problem is also one of them as well. But today, Nigeria itself is about almost 62 trillion naira in debt. But it seems that the maximum cash withdrawal over the counter by individuals and the corporate organization per week shall henceforth be 100,000, 500,000 respectively. Withdrawals above this limit shall attract a processing fees of 5% to 10% respectively. Third-party check over 50,000 shall not be eligible to payment over the counter, while extent of 10 million naira on clearing check still subsists. The maximum cash withdrawal per week is going to be 100,000. How Nigerians will be able to survive with this is something that we don't know. However, there is an exemption that allows up to 5 million for individuals and 10 million for corporate organizations once a month while certain requirements are being fulfilled. Starr Radio UK, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London at 27 minutes past 11. I come back straight to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. As Yomi said, Mr. Lagni for Kenya and North American Studios, bringing you updates from Nigeria. I'm ARCHIE. Now, Yomi, a quick one before we leave that topic, because I'm looking at the new currency or notes that have been that is going to be replacing the older one. What the plan of the federal government was to allow the CBN to actually embark on this path, and we know how much it cost them to do that. Now, Nigeria seems to be a cash economy, cash society. So we don't normally use card transactions. So people need the cash to do business, unless it's otherwise. Is that the situation?
Well, cash is needed on almost everything, to operate in Nigeria today. Yes, I mean, people do online transaction, but the majority of Nigerians is a cash country. So that means you need the cash, to move from point A to B.
So is it something to care? It's difficult. I know where you are sitting and where I am. It's difficult for us to know exactly the intent of government, because is it that because they don't have the money, so by so doing they'll be able to control, and that might control inflation because there will not be lots of cash in the hands of people, or they are scared that people will now think that they want to come in and just withdraw their monies from there once, because in Ghana there's something happening, and when Nigeria sneezes, Ghana catches the cold, and so yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason beyond why the government is trying to restrict, be able to get more cash out of your own account, and also the change of the currency. What we've been told, by the government is that the currency change has got to do with the insecurity in the country. Even though the terrorists are now also saying that if you're bringing any cash to them, it has to be the new domination, so they're not interested in the old, currency as well. It's as funny as it could be right here. It is a very, very difficult time for so many Nigerians that the policy of this Buhari's government has been a big problem. And all these were part of what was asked, to Tinubu that he was unable to answer. I think a question was asked again, which says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do differently? Why should Nigerians be voting for you? Because I am different. I am Bola Tinubu. But he actually said, he's Bola Tinubu, and he was actually trying to judge, what he has done in Lagos State. He was asked about his wealth as well. And but one thing, the question that he was also asked has got to do with, Buhari government in terms of this government came in and with the hope that there will be so many changes, but rather those changes have not come to the table of so many Nigerians. Businesses have fallen up, economies completely crumbled. This morning, Nigerians are buying petrol at about 320 naira, per liter, depending on if you're not able to get, the black market at about 500. So for the last 8 years of the APC government Tinubu supported, it has been a total mess for so many businesses that have also run away from Nigeria.
Well, listeners, it is gone 11:31. It is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, so we have to run up quickly. But, well, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, yesterday said the fear of the unknown in the welfare of public office holders after retirement is what is fueling corruption, because people are working in various capacity, and then they know that whatever they are earning is not enough. Now they are even telling you we can't catch so much money in a day or in a week. They are limiting everything. The people think, well, we need to survive some way, somehow. So why wouldn't these individuals try to maybe do some ululu things to make sure, add some zeros to some numbers, figures, and make some money? And now, so people, corruption is because of what is going on exactly in the economy, or the fear of the unknown that is causing them to do that. How true is that?
Well, the civil service and the civil servant have been, one of the most corrupt when it comes to, the government, whether from the federal or the local. And the reason for that is a lot of them are concerned that after service of 35 years or 30 years, they end up not getting, what is adequate for them. So what most of them do is, they change a lot of the numbers, and they've used those positions to enrich themselves. So Goodluck Jonathan, as a former, president of the country, knew much what has gone wrong in that system, and it's just a shame that it is only when they leave the office, they talk like that. But while he was in office, he was not anywhere discussing some of these issues.
Well, listen, at the Starr Radio UK, let me bring us the rest of the stories and what is happening on the social media platform. What about you, sir?
Well, just gonna take on. There's also issues of Nigerians have lived under this Buhari administration for 8 years now, almost 8 years. Some say this 8 years has come with a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and these were some of the questions put to Bola Tinubu, at one of the interview he granted here in London, to the BBC. Just to go straight to the social media because of the time constraint this morning, what is still trending this morning is Atiku and Obi is actually trending. Ambode is trending. Ambode was the former governor of Lagos State that was not allowed to continue because the party, which Tinubu also endorsed, was not going to give him that ticket, and rather a ticket was given to the current governor that also flew in with Tinubu to London, which is the Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Babajide Sanwo-Olu was also questioning some Nigerians, or probably the Yorubas that were, at the Chatham House, that he doesn't know when some of them have returned home. But I'm not sure whether you understand that those that run out of Nigeria are coming here without, what are they going to find? And some of them have been unable to return back home. And the reason for that is some of them would not have that same document that will take them back home. So this morning, I've also heard of a young Nigerian that have been killed somewhere in Lagos by the security force. And again, a lot of tension, as that also reminds a lot of Nigerians about, the NSAS saga that took place about 2 years ago. But when we talk about Nigeria on the social media, which is the only platform where Nigerians could have their voice, there is a lot being discussed. And again, Bale says, I watched the clips of the Chatham House meeting with Nigeria's leading presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. All that kept flying through my mind was Robert Mugabe in his last days in power. Nigerians, I pray you won't do this to your country. Let the old man go and rest. And that is actually coming from Bale Kayinga on Twitter. Let's take two more. David Odonye. Anyway, as with every other time, when the Twitter Nigerians decided to pretend that they live in Vienna as against Idi Araba, time will tell in its own harsh and unique way. I still remember some of you argue bitterly that lockdown was a solution for Nigeria in 2022. Simon Ekpa, Biafrans, you must stay strong. There is no going back. We are finally exiting Nigeria, whether they like it or not. We will drag the unhazy and all the politicians to freedom, including their erat and slave. We told them they will sleep in Nigeria and wake up in Biafra. Let's take one more as well. Neferati, the next first lady of Nigeria, and that is the wife of Peter Obi. And I guess, as they continue to move with their campaign from one end to the other, like they always say with Buhari, top to bottom. According to Robert Spencer, Muslim mother, Christian couple, and their 17-year-old. This is all happening again in Nigeria. And as the last one from me, which is also the obedient. Let's do it again in Jalingo, Taraba State. The Labour presidential candidate, Peter Obi, is the next president of Nigeria. Take that to the bank. And this is coming from some of the supporter of Peter Obi. A popular train service between Nigeria capital Abuja and northern state Kaduna have now resumed on Monday, as we say, after being suspended, even though 28 of the last victims are going through what they call psychological impact of what happened on the 28th of March 2022, and they're asking the federal government to come to their aid. This is how far we can go this morning, but the rest of the show later on at 1800 hours, there'll be more to discuss.
Well, listeners, that has been updates from Nigeria with Mr. OLAYOMI Koiki. And as we've said, this evening, exactly at 18 hours, join him when he brings you some more of what is, or details of what is happening in Nigeria. And this one, or this time around, is going to be 2.5 hours of in-depth analysis and everything. And you can share your comments and everything, but make sure you don't miss that. But before we go, Pastor Momo says, with the issues of Chatham House, it is clear the British is not being fair. What does he mean by that? Well, you want to know, he's going to be telling you more on that front when it comes, when OLAYOMI comes on this evening and he's going to be there. He said, can the British accept the type of man as their prime minister? Or this type of man as their prime minister that is talking about Tinubu? Well, maybe they are just championing him. They know that he won't last, Abby. Okay. Yomi, let me say thank you very much for your submission once again. What do you say before you go?
We'll be back again later on tonight to review the Chatham House, the self-determination and the election. All that is part of the discussion later on this evening. Join us at 1800 hours. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Well, listen, that has been so OLAYOMI Koiki. Bye.
All right, that's how far I can go. Toba Dale, Kappa de Lagbara Long. Inshallah. Bye for now.